Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Welcome to the show, y'all. Look, let me give you a quick recap of episode 3. Purscel goes to trial, got a nifty 50. A nifty 50. And he divorces his wife and thinks that he's going to be able to go back to his first wife. She tells him she ain't got time for the playing of no games and no drama. She don't want him back. She's dedicated her life to her son and the Most High. She ain't got time for all of that drama that's going on with him. But he continues to believe that, or wants everybody else to believe for that matter, let me put it that way, that God told him to do all of this. That God told him to do all of this and get everything right or he wasn't going to get out. But it turns out that it's him. He's slipping. He's delusional. He's losing his mind. Now everybody around him sees it. Everybody sees it. He's back in the pod and he's telling everybody different stories. He's telling people that, excuse me, he's telling people that he's got to go back to court. He ain't finished in court. He ain't been sentencing, but they know he's been sentenced. His stories are all over the place, and they start to notice that, he's not in touch with reality anymore. So the people that run the place, they see it and they get to talking to him, and he sounds fine. He sounds okay. He sounds okay. But his behavior is not matching up to somebody that's okay under these circumstances. It's just not making any sense anymore. It's just not. So now he's trying to find a way to make his life purposeful and meaningful. So he gets deep into the Word. Deep into the Word. And he's pulling people over and he's talking to them. And every now and then, he'll sit down and he'll say, let's make a meal together. But he doesn't have anything to contribute. But he thinks that just by him sitting down and sharing the Word, that's what God wants him to do. And he should be fed just from that, right? And it works for a little while, because people are feeling sorry for him. He doesn't have any money coming in. He doesn't have anybody to call. He doesn't have any visits. He's picking up the phone and getting on it and faking like he's talking to somebody. Faking like he's talking to somebody. Nobody's on there. Because see, what he doesn't realize is that people are watching him. Right? And then here these phones, before we got these tablets, the phones, you sitting right next to somebody so you can hear if somebody answers or if the dial tone is you understand what I'm talking about? So a couple of people, they've heard him next to him playing this game like he's talking to somebody on the phone, and so they indulge him when he comes and he asks for something to eat. So one day when he came and asked me for something to eat, I said, bro, let me give you a word of advice. I'm going to feed you, but let me give you a word of advice. Quit playing with these people, man. And he said, what you talking about, Joe T? I said, bro, if you keep playing with these people, you know what I'm saying? Let me put it to y'all like this. I said, if ain't nothing wrong with you, man, and you saying something is wrong with you, or you acting like something is wrong with you, when they hit you with that needle, you ain't coming back. It's hard to get back, man, when they hit you with that needle, man. So I grabbed a few things, and put them a $30, $40 bag of food together, and I said, here, this should get you through, man, for a couple of days, man, but I can't do this every month. Food's expensive. He said, I appreciate it. And I seen his eyes tear up, and I sat in my cell, and I got to thinking about him, and I was like, man, it's heavy, man. This man got 8 or 10 more years to finish one sentence, then they're going to ship him to a whole nother state to do a nifty 50. You got to do all of it. In another state, don't nobody know him, and he done divorced his wife, and the first wife he had, she don't want nothing to do with him. He's all alone. He ain't got nobody. So one day, listen to me. One day, he happened to be sitting out back, and he was reading his Bible, and he kept closing the Bible and opening the Bible and closing the Bible and opening the Bible, and I could see that he was frustrated, and I didn't want to walk over there. I didn't want to walk over there. But something kept pushing me, telling me to go. Get over there, Joe. Get over there. And I walked on over there, man. I ain't want to see him trip out. So I get up. I said, bro, you good? What's going on with you? Try to change his mind, man. Get his mind off of, you know what I'm saying, all of his trouble, right? Because I know how they feel. I've been there, done that. And he looked up at me. He said, Joe T. He said, man, I ain't never getting out of prison, man. I said, don't say that. I said, you want to try, fight that, man. He said, man, what I'm going to fight it on? That I made a mistake. I said, yeah, that's what you said. You said you were drunk. You didn't know what was going on, bro. I said, it's a flimsy defense, but hey, man, keep pushing. You might find a flaw in the case. It's anything, man. Don't give up. Because I know what that means to give up. Don't do that, man. It's a dark place, man. I've seen so many of my friends in here that gave up and they gone, man. They gone. And I didn't want that for him. I didn't want that for him. And he looked at me, he said, Joe T, you ain't listening to me, man. And he looked around, like to his left and to his right, to make sure wasn't nobody else within earshot. And he said, Joe T, I knew it was her daughter. I said, what'd you say, bro? He said, I knew it wasn't the mama, man. I knew it was the daughter. But I wanted to do it. And I thought she wanted to do it too. Turns out, you know, she really didn't. I said, what? I said, so you all this time, you knew? And he was like, yeah, I knew, man. He's just, but dang, man, 50 years? I said, there you go. You making it about you again. Making it about you. You messed that girl head up, man. You done messed that girl head up. He said, man, she teenager old. I said, it don't matter. She didn't want you, dude. She didn't want you touching her. You ain't had no right. You ain't had no right. He said, you ain't no better than me. You got a murder charge. I said, you right. I ain't had no right either. The fuck you mean? I ain't had no right either. I said, but you sitting right here, you acting like you a victim. You ain't no victim. You ain't no victim. So quit acting like that, man. Own that. You gotta own that, man. You don't get to run from that. Mess that girl up, man. I said, you running around here talking about God told you to make it right, and then you divorced your wife and told your other one, the first one, then you want her back, all this and that. No, if God really was telling you what he's saying, make it right, and be honest, man. I don't know what you got going on, bro. He looked at me, he started crying. I'm talking about, look, this dude work out. Huge. Big man physically. But a small man in stature when it comes to his mental and all of the other things, you know. See, a lot of us hide behind what we look like physically, but we broken on the inside. See, he broken down like a shotgun with no shells. You understand me? All bark and no bite when it comes to living life right. He had the opportunity that most of us in here would give our right arms for. He was out there. He was free. Give us free. And what'd he do with it? What'd he do with it? Now, why is that important? Why is this story important? See, a lot of times, man, when you come to the penitentiary, I've said this before in some of my other shows, right? A lot of times when you come to the penitentiary, you stuck at that age, that level of maturity that, you had at that particular age, right? And a lot of the things that go on in prison don't help you to mature as a man. It helps you to learn different ways to connive and get over on people and manipulate people, right? But it's not helping you grow up. Not even a lot of the programming that they have. A lot of the programming that they have is checking boxes. Okay, we're going to teach you how to conduct an interview. We're going to teach you how to fill out a resume. We're going to teach you these different things. But there ain't nobody teaching some of these guys in here, most of these guys in here, how to be a man. What that really means. Putting them in a position of where they can grow and mature. The signs are all there. That most of these guys are not developed mentally beyond the age that they were when they came here. Yeah, they learned the language of an adult. They learned the mannerisms of an adult. But when it comes down to actually making decisions of an adult, they don't allow us to do that. They take that away from us. We don't get to decide nothing. And that's to our detriment. It's to our detriment and society's. Because when you leave here, you're not prepared. You got to do that yourself. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not even blaming the system. No, I'm not blaming the system. No way, shape, or form. No way, shape, or form. It has to be that you see something's off. Now, that sounds unfair, right? How can you tell somebody that's off to see that they're off? See, most people, they ain't got mental problems in here initially to the extent that they can't recognize that they need to do better. They know that they need to do better, but the things that we do in here that help us survive this environment continue to take us down that rabbit hole. At some point, we decide this is what I want. This is getting me everything I need. He learned to manipulate his way through in here. So he got out and it was just a different playing field. It's like a home and an away game. He found himself on a different play field. So he did what? He continued to practice the manipulation schemes and games that he practiced in here. But on another level. On another level. He played the game by cheating on his wife. And eventually leaving his wife for another woman without ever addressing what was going on with him on the inside. He was a child, broken. And when he got confronted with that, he showed his face, that anger. It wasn't real anger, he was lost. What do? He missed the point with his friend that saw him because he had hid things from his wife, his second wife. You see? He missed the point when that girl came to the house and he begged for forgiveness because those are the tools that he learned to use in his schemes. Please don't leave me. I ain't got nobody. Don't leave me by myself. But never really wanted to address why you feel the need to lie. Why you feel the need to cheat. Say you scared. That's why. Say you scared. Because all of that other stuff ain't going to do nothing but help you continue to scheme, right? So I sat out back with him and we sitting out there talking and all this and that. And after he finished crying, and I ain't going to lie, I teared up a little bit too. I teared up a little bit too because the reality of his situation was hitting me. It was hitting me. I knew this man when he was here. And now he's back. And now he's not going anywhere. He's going to another state eventually. But y'all, he's up there in the age, man. Be 80, 90, maybe 100 when he get out. If he lives. And he ain't got nobody. He ain't got nobody. And then when he go to this other state where people don't know him, with the particular charge that he got, he might not survive. Because they're still stuck in their immaturity, violent ways. And they want to hurt him like they protecting the victim. You ain't protecting nobody by beating him up when he get there. But that's how we think. That's how we think. Ain't no helping each other grow to healthy human beings that reject criminal ways, hold each other accountable as men. Not a man when all you want to talk about is getting in a woman's pants and using her and abusing her. It's not being a man. It's a boy. But again, that's the environment that we in, right? That's what we stuck at, right? And I felt the need to share this story because when the truth of your situation hits you, right? And you're gonna have opportunities before you get to the opportunity Purscel got to. You're gonna have opportunities way before it becomes a situation where it seems like you can't do nothing about it. Learn to read the tea leaves, y'all. Learn to read the signs. Don't let it become, one of those situations where you get it when the truth comes out. It's too late for you to do anything substantial or anything that's going to actually change the outcomes about it. Don't let that be. Don't let that be. Don't go out there, commit a crime, and say and believe that just because you get away with it, it's cool. Now, imagine if you got caught. What could you get for that? If you go out there and shoot somebody, what you should say is, if I get caught for doing this, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison. Can I do that? Can I do that by myself? And the answer should be, no, I don't want to do no daggum life sentence. Ask yourself before you go out there and decide to go buy you some drugs to try to make up for you not being able to pay your rent, or your girl is mad because you ain't brought nothing to the table in a month because you living off of her. Before you go out there and get that bag, ask yourself, how good are you going to be to her when you sitting in the penitentiary? If y'all already needing money and you end up coming to the penitentiary trying to sell some dope, then what? The money she got to pay the rent, she going to have to start splitting it in half to give to you. And eventually she going to decide she don't need you. Do you want that? The answer is easy. It always has been. It always will be. But we don't want to see it. We don't want to see it. We want to sit there and say that the Most High gonna make sure we straight when we breaking the law. Come on, y'all. We need to grow up. Okay, y'all, that's enough of that. I'm going to get off of it. But let me tell you what happened to Purscel, okay? Let me tell you what happened to Purscel. He ended up getting extradited to this other state, and he doing his time. I got a letter from him, and he told me that he's all right. He's still messed up with the way I talk to him, you know what I'm saying? But he got to do it. It ain't no getting away from him. He got to do that. And he probably will, unless something happens in court. Excuse me. He probably will spend the rest of his life in the penitentiary. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.